Hello everyone, welcome to the 6th episode of Carpool Chats with Keshav, and today we have Abhijit Reddy, who's the head of data and AI. Very
Hi,
interesting title, head of
Yeah.
data and AI. How did that happen?
How did that happen? I gave OKR to Keshav and that happened.
Yeah, my OKR was very different.
Yeah.
So, should I share the spoiler of what exactly the OKR was?
Yeah. I mean, then you might have more people joining the company if you give a wrong expectation to them.
This is a personal OKR,
Yeah.
not a professional one. It was more like a thing that I wanted to do for a friend, brother.
Yeah.
So guys, everyone, I have a personal OKR which I've taken up for Reddy. He's one of the most eligible bachelors in SmartQ, and I'm helping him find his match.
Yeah.
And all of that effort is also culminating through this carpool chats.
Yeah.
So let's come to how did we get to head of data and AI?
Head of data and AI. Yeah.
Yes. How did you transition from you? I think you swam many waves in SmartQ, and which ended up to leading you to this path. So
Yeah.
how did you? If you can tell us about how did it start and how did it reach here?
Yeah. I guess in SmartQ it started with me joining the front end team as
Front-end
junior
team.
web
Okay.
web developer. I mean, this was before you the next up merged.
2018, 17.
2018-17 like that.
So you were hired right out of college, is it? Or
No, I was there in a different company. Campus placement, I was 1 year in that company.
Okay.
Then within 1 year only I kind of quit, and then here I have joined
Okay.
through HackerRank, I guess,
Okay.
that time.
That was also into front end development.
Yeah, the Footbook PW application, you know that, right?
No, I'm saying the previous company.
Yeah, front end. Because I came fresh out of the college, I didn't have much choice like what I would take.
Okay.
So they
Where did you
told,
study and stuff? Maybe let's go back to like where
Yeah.
did you do your school? Let's start from your schooling. Where did you
Yeah.
do your schooling?
schooling and how in Karnataka we call PUC.
Right.
I did it in Andhra
Okay.
from Tirupati.
11th and 12th.
Yeah, +2 we call it in Andhra.
Okay.
So I have done from Tirupati. I was born there, and I spent like pretty much like almost 16-17 years there.
In Tirupati.
Tirupati itself.
Okay. It's the Tirupati is like the
The
big town,
pilgrimage.
and Tirumala is the place where
The hill on which the actual temple
temple
will
is.
be there. And even on Tirupati there are so many other temples, but the main temple mostly people come for that is the
Tirumala.
Tirumala one.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you have gotten the good fortune of visiting Tirumala temple multiple times.
Yeah.
In Tirupati.
I mean, it's easier to go to Tirumala from Tirupati than come to office.
Very good analogy. How long do you walk to Tirumala?
Yeah, I have walked many times.
Okay.
My dad, I guess, like once he had some kind of I don't know what you call in English or something, like mokku you'll have, right?
In the sense
You make a promise to a god, like I will
vow.
do this.
Yeah.
So 52 times he went in a year, like every week once or something like that.
Crazy.
From our house, like our home is like almost like some 5-10 kilometers away from the steps.
Mm.
So from the home itself he used to go.
The modern day equivalent is like of running, say, multiple marathons in the year.
Yeah,
So that is his vow.
it's a spiritual
Wow.
marathon, religious.
Religious marathon.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Did you also join him?
yeah, a
in
couple of
any way?
times I went with him. Quite a few times I go with my friends.
Okay.
My friend's dad works there, so they have their own quarters, right? So
Okay.
we don't need to worry too much about the stay and everything.
On Tirumala hill.
Yeah.
is it?
So you can't live permanently there like a resident, but the people who work, right, staff, for them they will have
Right.
the quarters in sharing basis kind of.
How rich is Tirumala? Or like that trust? I hear like it's
Yeah.
richer than BCCI and which are the most
Not to be competitive.
listed companies out there.
Yeah, not to be competitive, but it is like pretty like they don't need to rely on like pretty much on any government funds or anything. And it's also not like a secretive thing, it's an open fact. Now also if you go to Tirumala, you will have like banners saying like every month how much they have collected and where they have spent actually that money. And they also spend that money, part of it on Tirupati to improve the infra there also.
Right.
Time.
A few years ago, I also visited Tirumala. I also walked up and I could see some interesting stuff. Everything, the entire trust, all the official vehicles were all electric vehicles, Tata Nexon. They only use, like sustainable, so I saw a lot of solar panels being used.
Yeah, solar panels and wind turbines.
Yeah.
And also like we made this for Germany, right? DRS to return the bottles that they take, glass
Used
bottles
pans.
there.
Yeah.
So complete Tirumala has now only glass bottles.
Okay.
There is no plastic bottles and they don't even allow it. Like in the Tirupati when they're doing the checking, they won't even allow it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a pretty good initiative kind.
Nice, very good. So it's like it's the entire government is the trust itself in Tirumala. They only run the entire governance of that place.
Yeah, mostly.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I would say like I had the plan to come to Bangalore like at a pretty young age. I was like
how long were you in Tirupati and Tirumala, that area?
Yeah, 16-17 years.
16.
My parents would have stayed like 5-7 years more easily.
Where was what did you study in +2?
So in Bangalore, I guess like you don't have that option kind of, like in Karnataka mostly.
We have
By
commerce,
LPC
science,
like that you will do,
we
right?
have science, commerce, we have arts. These are like the three
like that
large
you will
fields.
have, but you have something called biology and math combined you will have, right?
So there is physics, chemistry, and either you specialize in biology or computer science or electronics. This is at least from when I remember last, at least like this was 5-6 years ago. I don't know what it is today.
So in Andhra it is like BiPC and MPC. So physics and chemistry are common, that PC part. BiPC means biology and MPC means math, basically. So yeah, you have to take a choice there itself, of course.
Which one?
MPC.
MPC, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but I was in 5th standard itself. I kind of decided like I will be like a software engineer itself.
5th standard.
Yeah.
That is quite early in life to decide what would be. What happened at that time?
Yeah, I was like quite to an extent. If you see like in my 1st standard when a first PC my dad had got, like temporarily we were having for 1 month before we were moving it to my brother.
Your elder brother?
No. Cousin brother. We usually not call them cousins. So my dad's own brother will be there, right? Their kids.
So you stayed in a joint family of sorts, or what?
Not like that, but we were close. So we had got it and we had installed that system here. We were checking because we didn't want to have any trouble with it for some time.
Right.
Then I was like, my dad was like, okay, he's a kid. What he would do with a system? Play game. So he kept a NFS kind of a game and he went. And by the time he came back, I was crying like anything.
What happened?
So the car, when I was going and it turned around and it was showing in a very dramatic way, like I'm going in wrong way with a huge cross mark on the screen and like a huge sound, like scary sound. I was like, I am doing something wrong and the system is gone now. So I was crying like anything. And
how
then,
old were you at that time?
I was like in 1st standard or something like that.
Okay.
Even less probably. So my dad came and he is like, dude, why would I cry for that? Max, you turn off the switch. So he came and like, you're going in wrong direction, just turn around now, it's fine. So that was like pretty traumatic. But by the time I came to 5th standard, I was like, I was getting more and more curious about it, and I was only.
So your first interaction or like first vivid memory with computers is not a good one.
Not a good one.
It's like a scary
for
one.
no reason I was scared. So then I was like pretty much fascinated with like. So anytime a system goes wrong, I would go onto the internet and see like, okay, what is this? They would be like, okay, run these command line steps.
How did you get exposed to all of this, like setting up internet? That was early time, no? And then figuring out a command line without any formal education
Uh,
around it?
It's more of the environment, I guess. Like most of my cousins, relatives, everyone were like doing like computer science itself, or whatever they do, they used to go to software side.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like bit fascinated, like how can you type something and make all this happen, like whatever you see visually.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, what is this? And pretty young age itself, I had got like C and C++ books, which were like engineering books, and I started reading from 7th standard kind of.
Oh.
So I was just curious, like, okay, how
So
do you do?
So you started reading C, C++ and you started programming also at that age, early age?
I was doing by 10th standard. I guess like there was something called Code Academy where you don't even need to set up in a system like all the things.
Okay.
Online terminal they would show and everything.
Hmm.
So I was like curious with, and I started messing around.
Okay.
And I had a lot of curiosity with like the secret codes writing. Like a lot of movies will be there, right? Mystery movies and everything. I was fascinated. with it.
Ambigrams, anagrams,
Yeah.
those kind of stuff, or is it like a puzzle or a
Not like a puzzle, like normal text. What you
ciphers?
write,
You
ciphers
mean.
kind
Ciphers,
of.
okay.
So I got a whole book of like ciphers, like from history of ciphers, like how they do, and you see that World War, that
Yes.
cipher one, how do they do.
Cryptography was also part
Yeah.
of it, probably.
So I did all that, and then I felt like manually doing it was like very cumbersome to do it.
Right.
Once you program it, it was like way easier and faster to understand it and repeat the process kind of.
Right.
So I started doing that. But I would say like I took pretty much a break during
So
plus two time.
you tried to build your own ciphers as well, so that you could communicate secretly with someone.
Yeah,
You did that with
yeah, myself.
typical Reddy. So to communicate with yourself, you build ciphers.
Yeah, I can write anything, and it can be like an open file and no one can understand it kind of until I enter the key phrase kind of thing.
Nice. So what kind of secrets you used to store in that?
I think it was just fun stuff like that was just a fascination with this more than the content. There is a
Yes.
secret content. So I had that, but plus two I took a break. I would say definitely because in Andhra, I guess you might be also familiar. Like the curriculum is like very hectic. Like
Yeah.
in Narayana Chaitanya, I'm like Chaitanya product.
Okay.
So you have to pretty much be in college by 7, and they would leave again by 7:30 at night.
Very rigorous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So this was what like this was again physics, math, and computer science is what you're taking.
in Andhra, I don't think so even computer science they introduce it in PUC. It's like chemistry itself, chemistry,
Okay.
physics, and math.
Did you enjoy those subjects?
Mostly I would enjoy math.
Okay.
I guess pretty much I got like 100% in that in both the years.
Okay.
Physics, yeah, to an extent. Chemistry, not at all. Chemistry feels a bit like there are too many rules to memorize in chemistry. It feels like
Hmm.
now why does these two chemicals bond like this, but these two chemicals bond in a different way? They just do like that.
There's no understanding, is it?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
some element of that answer to that would would fall under like the structure of each of the atoms, right?
Yeah.
It falls into the physics, how many shells it has, how many layers of electrons it has, what is the charge,
yeah,
and what kind of bonds do these atoms and ions form. So
yeah.
somewhere if you are good at physics, you'll like chemistry also. But the question of when there are too many rules around, like when you go into organic chemistry, if you generally see
Yeah.
number of compounds you'll have to remember, number
Yeah.
of chains
Organic
you'll have to remember.
inorganic chemistry. I'm like, so I kind of focus too much on physics and math only. Like chemistry, I was like, okay, I was doing kind of. From theory point of view, if you see in Andhra,
Hmm.
everyone gets like almost like 80 above easily. If you want to be in top 10%, you have to get 90% at least.
Right.
So even though you're not interested, you will be there in that percentage.
What was
definitely.
yours when you finished?
Yeah, in first year I got like 89, and second year I got 97, I guess.
97.
Yeah, close to on average. It
Were
went
you
to
like the
95,
topper
94.
of the college?
No.
97 is not topper.
I mean, in second year I was topper, but after combining, I was like in maybe top 10 or something like that. It's pretty competitive. Like 99.7 or 8 is the state toppers.
Wow.
So-
97 and still, you know.
You're not there. You're like you're still not serious enough like that.
Did you
So-
feel bad after getting 97? Did your parents regret? Why did you lose 3 marks?
My parents were not. They were chill. They were not caring that much. Like too much like competitive. They were not there.
But you were more.
I was also not like that. I called my friends were like, how much you got? 97. I am like, okay, what's the big deal? The other campus people got like 99.1 like that. I am like, okay, dude. I was like, so that.
So the 2 years were more like proper rigorous studies only. Nothing else.
Yeah.
No time for fun exploration.
No.
Nothing.
I mean, the PC whatever was there, it was packed.
Mm.
No internet, and that time even the mobile internet was not also that crazy, right?
Right.
And mobiles were also like very like it had like a whole memory itself like 100 MB.
Right.
So all that was there, and TV also it's like at least some basic level of entertainment is needed. There are 1 or 2 DVDs kind of thing. I have seen that those couple of movies only probably like 50 times or 70 times.
So this was not. This was it like a boarding or was it like a normal?
No, I was day scholar student itself. Like from my home only, I was going to college every day.
In our college times, we used to be able to download. So we put like 3 movies at least in the night, and by next day afternoon, those would have been downloaded.
Yeah.
And we used to burn it onto DVDs and all that. And it was probably like what 6, 7, 8 Mbps
Yeah.
speed. That was what.
And
we
it
used to-
takes like forever. And also there was a joke like college students' PCs are like more intensive than a nuclear reactor. Like they might also get a break, but morning they will be completely seeing movies or like playing games. Night it will be downloading stuff.
Yeah,
Once in a while they will shut down that whole system.
yeah. That's how it
Yeah.
used to be. So have you rigged up your own system and all?
Yeah.
So
I
you
am
are
like-
more into software or hardware at that age? You are more into like doing your custom.
I mean,
custom-
software is like a less capital intensive thing to go into. Hardware, it's like more capital intensive, right? You need to
Yeah.
get all that stuff. They might get
Components.
ruined on stuff, and you have to keep changing them. Actually, my engineering college final project I did it Arduino.
Uh-huh.
So that time it felt like really interesting, and I felt like I could have tried even on the electronic side, more robotic side or something. Curiosity was there, but then there was not much time. Like it was a final project which I took. I didn't know anything about electronics. I just took it and I was like, okay, let me try to learn and see what will
What
happen.
was your project? You remember?
Yeah, I remember. So I made this voice controlled home automation system kind of, because I can't rig it to actual like home system.
Okay.
What I did is like I got like this LED lights and some sensors and stuff, and there's a Bluetooth communication. So from my mobile I can give it commands,
Mm-hmm.
and the Arduino will understand that command and it will turn on the lights. So each light I will just label it as this is a hall light, this is a bedroom light and stuff like that. And there's a small DC motor which I would just assume it like a fan. So and there's a temperature sensor and everything. And if I say like, okay, set this temperature to this much and temperature goes to this point only, then you need to
The regulator.
yeah,
Kind of
start the fan
thermostat.
and stuff.
But this required a lot of knowledge on the components, electronics and stuff. How did you learn this part? Like software,
YouTube.
I know you. YouTube.
Yeah,
So you built. So you got a first-hand experience of how software drives hardware.
Yeah.
And where you can build practical. So now, of course, I can see what in 2020 to 23 onwards, I can see a lot of these home automation becoming mainstream. But this was when 10 years ago, 15
Yeah.
years ago.
2016, 17 like that.
Yeah, which is when it was not mainstream, and at
Yeah.
that time probably, yeah,
Yeah.
we were probably.
That
pretty,
time slowly these
early.
systems were coming into picture. They were not so super popular. Now pretty much every product that you buy has that integration.
Yeah, to Alexa
Yeah.
or whichever.
So that was there. Like I feel like YouTube, I mean, is the one place if you really
You got
use it.
you got your biggest degree out of YouTube than college. Seems like.
Yeah, I mean,
YouTube, university.
there are two sides of that coin. I felt like in India, at least specifically when it comes to college, my kind of education system, how I envision is like, if I have clarity on what I want to do, I should be given the choice. Like, okay, the main your major kind of is like you're doing computer science.
Mm.
So every year you need to minimum take 2 subjects out of the 6 subjects.
Mm.
Rest of the subjects, it's up to you. Or like 2 subjects you can take completely not related to computer science, but another 2 you have the choice. We will not dictate it.
Mhm.
But mostly in India, it's like kind of dictated.
Mm.
Even though when we feel like there's a choice, it's mostly like the whole class needs to decide like what subject you are going to decide on and stuff like that.
Mhm. So
So-
it's not dependent on individual choice.
Yeah. So I felt like even I want to spend more time, and instead of 6 subjects, I want to do 10 subjects. If
Mm.
my curiosity is there during that time, and just go like in 3 days, American would be like, the knowledge is there. You have to just go and sit in any class that you am not enrolled also, and just learn something out of it.
Mm.
So when I felt that was limiting, I used to go through YouTube and stuff and learn most of the things.
How do you think education of probably the next decade will evolve, or how do you think it should be, at least, if not, predicting how it will evolve, at least what do you think, like, ideally the education should be this way to get
Yeah.
the best out of a...
Pretty much how I said now, right? That plus it should be more self-paced, I feel like. So even in my school time, what I used to do is I'm very weak in like languages, like Hindi, Telugu, all these languages I'm pretty weak, English or whatever. I'm pretty weak in these stuff. I mean, in social, there are some stuff, but it did not get that interest during the school time.
Mm.
Now I get the interest and I learn about a lot of historical things, and it sounds amazing.
Mm.
So if I had the choice, like, okay, from this point itself, you have a choice, like, to select different subjects and select your own speeds.
Mm.
Because I need to spend the same amount of time in a Telugu class or like a Hindi class, and also in my math class. So math class, what I used to do is like, for teachers, I am like annoying kid
Mm.
in both the classes, because in Telugu class I am not easily able to understand stuff.
In
In math class, I am understanding too quickly, and they are like annoyed.
You ask a
with
lot
me.
of questions after that
Yeah,
point.
questions, and I am slowing things, or like I'm taking them too fast, and other people also needs to catch up.
Mm.
So
You are answering the question as soon as it's written on the
yeah,
board.
I'm
kind of
like,
stuff.
okay, this is very easy stuff. Let's go forward and go to the complex stuff like that. Then they'll be like, you have the textbook, go to the back bench, do whatever you want. So they will be in the 2nd chapter. I will be going to the 4th chapter, and in my free time, I might ask like, okay, this part in the 4th chapter I got stuck. What to do?
Mm.
So I guess like these kind of software platforms, if they evolve more,
Mm.
and they become a more like a more commodity.
Then what is
than,
the role of a
this.
teacher if you're going to do it learning self-paced and also individual?
Yeah.
Like, you can't have one teacher for every student at that point, right? So
Yeah.
how will the role of a teacher evolve?
So yeah, I guess this system, especially for
Will there
more
be a
populated-
teacher in the first place?
There should be a teacher, definitely, because not every student or every student in every subject might not self-learn things. Like as I told you, right? Math I can self-learn, but Telugu I might not self-learn. I want someone to hold my hand and teach me stuff properly. Take more dedication. So people who wants that, they will attend. So out of 100% of the students, maybe only 50% will attend actually,
Hmm.
because they are the only ones who are struggling to understand and they need a help.
Hmm.
And also there is a lot of, let's just say, not in Telugu, but in physics or math or some other place like computer science, electronics, you can do actually like a project and you can learn stuff.
Hmm.
So when you're doing actually this real world project kind of practical stuff, you might actually need a person who can go and help you, like, okay, you are doing something wrong here.
Hmm.
So now, if in that context, if you think for a heavily populated country like India, like that makes more sense for a teacher's bandwidth will be not utilized completely, right? So I feel like that might be the route that it should go, and we should get more hands-on. I feel like,
I have a thought also on this, is that if you are able to explain what you've learned to another person, it means that you really learned that subject well, okay, to a new person. One is shortage of teachers. Second is people want like self-paced learning and want to learn at their own speed and more individualistic. Could there not be a way where the students also teach the students who are kind of picking up something, someone who's already fast, spend some part of their time training
Yeah.
someone else who are kind of picking
Yeah,
up.
we can do that, but only there might be some pitfalls. The students might start becoming like authoritarian.
That
They
has to be
themselves
moderated.
moderated. So yeah, I mean, students also can do, because that you don't even need to tell students. I guess like they individually go on, like, okay, teacher came and told something and they didn't understand. The people who really want to improve or work on that, they just go and contact the other students and take help from them usually.
Mhm.
So that might come more naturally also.
Mhm.
And also I guess like lot of times we stuck with the textbook stuff of it, and we don't understand. Once I came to the job, right, I realized like, okay, knowing how to code and everything is just step one. Actually, if you want to progress more in your career, you need the soft skills. You need to know how to deal a situation, how to handle people. So a lot of times when we are stuck with these things and by hearting stuff and everything, you don't get to experience this.
Do you know that you feel that way because you're on the other side, where your skill sets are way high on the other side, and you feel like you need a balance. But on the other, on if you ask me, or if you ask probably a non-programmer, their importance will be like, okay, this you can learn anytime, or it's kind of naturally you can absorb it and stuff. The thing is, like probably if they want to build something, biggest challenge for them is the background of technology and programming. So I'm saying it is the probably it's not a bias, I would say. It's a why you're feeling that is because you've always focused on the
Okay, I
technical
will.
side of the
I will tell you. I guess like the image of me, little bit. It sounds like, okay, I'm always like reading and I'm not participating. So a lot of times in college, I have participated in these events. Like participating in sense, I'm not participating as a person. Like I'm actually conducting the events and stuff. So I had the experience
you have
with the
been a
organizing.
host, MC.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, like comic book quiz and stuff like that. We used to conduct all these kind of things. So I had that experience there, and you can also see one more thing, right? I mean, you're also seeing already in our
No, but
company.
you still feel that, no? Despite that experience, you
Yeah.
still feel that.
I feel that, and also what I have seen also is like a lot of times when you promote a person based, they are technically good, and now you are promoting them. They are actually struggling, and if you take
They're
also a
actually
non-technical
struggling.
in managerial stuff, a lot of times it's a common assumption that a lot of us have, and you also see like there are so many managerial courses, right? So a lot of times companies spend a lot of effort in this managerial stuff than technical. Sometimes it feels like technical most of the time. How much company spends, like when you're onboarding a candidate you will spend, but the managerial stuff, it's kind of like a the lifelong event kind of thing. Like each time you're saying, so I feel like there's the managerial stuff is like there is a lot to see that, and it feels a lot because from young age we are not.
I'll tell you one more thing. There is a course for the technical stuff, for the things around aptitude, analytical stuff. There is math. So the entire course is designed for you to be able to think logically. So that muscle is built, that mental muscle is built from a young age.
Yeah.
But there's the only way you pick up soft skills in our system is through family, friends, relationships.
Yeah.
Right? There's no structured course around it. You just see and learn and pick up.
Yes.
So you've strengthened one muscle, but if you want to strengthen the managerial soft skill muscle, you're ending up having to invest later in your life when you realize, okay, I have to manage a team now you have to invest in
And also like, I mean, not how many schools actively do this or not, I don't know. Like some schools do this, like where they have like a fest and where students handle the stalls and stuff. So where they interact with the people coming in. So those kind of activities also should be part of
those
like a
are
curriculum.
good, but those are like fleeting. I would say those are like, say, once or twice in a year you might get an opportunity, and obviously you're not kind of tested for that. You're tested for your aptitude, you're tested for your knowledge in our system. You're not tested for how well you conducted a stall or like the fest.
Yeah. So at least that time you can start that, okay, these things are also there for, because they're still kids, right?
Right.
We need to probably treat kids as kids also until some point. Maybe in engineering also, you will see like, okay, this critical thinking tests or aptitude tests or like programming tests, they will train more on that. The soft skills side, a lot of times it is not trained that much, or like give a situation between them and see like how they react. Like, okay, you should have handled the situation like this, how the other person would behave.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, at least in a college time, if you start doing,
Right.
I'm not saying you have to become an expert. Of course, you actually be in the real life situation with the pressure and everything. You might actually develop like the advanced level and all. You will go into that. But yeah, there was not enough emphasis, I feel like, in many colleges, I would say.
Especially like the rigor that you went through in Chaitanya, which was all about academic
Yeah.
excellence. But coming from there,
Hmm.
what happened after? I mean, we took a long detour,
Yeah.
but coming back to +2, so what happened after +2? Where did you go?
Yeah, of course, Bangalore.
So for your engineering.
Yeah, engineering.
You
Actually,
did-
in my 7th standard, I decided I want to come here so that I can be eligible for Comet K.
So where did you? You
Sir,
wrote
KSET,
Comet K.
KSET. Actually, because I did not come, I have to write Comet K only.
Okay.
If I had come, I could have wrote the KSET.
Okay.
So I thought, but I was like, languages, I told you, right? I'm very poor at picking up new languages. So I thought like maybe that might be a bad idea. So I stopped there and okay, fine. Then for engineering, I came here.
So where did you do your engineering?
Acharya.
Acharya Institute.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in the Hesarghatta.
Okay, far. Pretty
Yeah,
far.
pretty far from there. Now that part also feels like a part of city. When I was there, it felt like it's outside city. Now when I recently went couple of times, like it felt like this is like even more peak traffic is there than city here. So
How was your engineering life?
yeah, it was actually like a chill life. I at least I felt like. So compared to like Sri Chaitanya, the college timings were like super chill. And also like the Acharya actually is like very spacious and like a lot of times there'll be shooting happening there. Initial first few times I was like, oh, shooting is happening, and after one semester or two, I'm like, today also shooting is happening. So it would be like that.
Became a common thing.
Yeah, and in my batch, apparently, usually in every batch there will be minimum some 20 to 30% Telugu speaking people. In my batch, I was the only one or two people were there max. I felt like that was a good thing.
Where were people from largely?
Largely from North India side and Karnataka itself. So I could mingle with these guys, and the most I used to, I mean, at least I could understand Kannada because I am roaming with them, and they don't talk to me in Kannada.
Okay.
They will be talking to me in English itself.
Okay.
So that's where my friends failed me to
Okay.
quickly learn Kannada kind of thing. So yeah. So that's the college.
What
part.
impact did college have on like your personality or your thinking? The engineering especially.
Yeah, engineering part, I felt like I finally understood like what the education system, what I need to pick from it out of completely. So every time everyone has this question, right? Why am I learning this sin theta, cos theta? Why am I? I mean, there is a purpose. Matrix. Why I am reading? There's a lot of purpose in actually life, but I may not use all of that. I mean, whatever I read, and even engineering also, 90% I might not even use for my job currently. But I feel like what education system is training you for is like it's increasing your learning capability, like different aspects. So rather than being annoyed, like, okay, am I going to use this or not? Okay, can I learn this fast? And I can also focus on the other things which I want to learn. Okay, if I am feeling like, okay, this is not, let me learn. And once I came to the industry also, like software industry, like I realized like
You took CS engineering?
CS, computer science itself.
Right.
So I realized like practically no college can tailor make a solution for me, like if they are giving a generalized one, because even I can't decide like what my next year I'm going to do, because 1 year back I was not even thinking like I will be working in data, right? So now I have to quickly learn data things in couple of months and guide the team, right? So no one can do it. So best they can do is like they can give a very generalized thing and increase your learning capability in multiple areas, in general learning capability, and then you need to pick it up from there rather than keep on complaining like my engineering college did not teach me this or schooling system didn't teach me this. I guess we need to come out of that blame game a little bit. I mean, there are areas to improve there also, I won't deny, but there is something that they are also doing well. They are telling like you need to understand these stuff like learning, because sometimes
Which was
you
your
might-
favorite subject in your course?
Mostly computer science related ones itself.
That's also broad, no? So in computer science,
Yeah, I would say like algorithms kind of thing.
thought so.
So because everything
DSA.
is like, yeah, I
Data
mean
structure
learning
algorithm.
languages is like initially it's fun, but later you feel like it is yet another language. And after 2-3 languages, you feel like a lot of similarities between the languages and stuff like that.
What have
So-
you been most proud of in your entire education and up until like work-wise, we'll keep it separately, but
Yeah.
in your entire up until your completion of education, what have you been most proud of?
I mean, that may not fall exactly in education, but during my college time itself, I did couple of freelancing jobs.
Okay.
Okay, that time I was like, the reason why in my first company they put me in front-end development is I was doing this using React.js. You can create like React native applications which run in both Android and iOS.
Right.
So this hybrid applications I was doing for contract basis kind of thing. Freelancing mostly, like that
Nice.
actually my reasoning to do that was I wanted to buy an iPhone. And I was too proud to ask my parents like for an iPhone, like because iPhone was a luxury. I was not willing to ask my parents for a luxury item, spend that much.
So you got to buy the iPhone eventually.
Yeah.
What was the app that you built on React?
So that was like one medical app.
Okay.
So it gives like all the medicine information and stuff like that. What people like this for one specific company, so their products alone will be there. So all that was there, and that was like a pretty new time for all these hybrid platforms, and there were a lot of challenges for even basic stuff because I was knowing also Android. Whatever was very simple there on memory management, everything was happening. Here it was getting a little bit trickier. So I got to learn a lot of internals about this, and I had contributed something to the open source also.
Nice.
Okay, so that was like, I mean, when I did not get stuck there, I was like, okay, someone had wrote also this plugin, right? Let me go in and see like what it does, and because I had the knowledge of Android also, it didn't feel too foreign for me, all that internal stuff.
Nice.
So
you had this tendency since you enjoyed learning at your own pace, and you kind of did a lot of in your younger days, shell scripts or like command line program in the lab computer in your house. So, and you learning C++ from 7th grade itself gave you the depth and edge that probably other programmers probably wouldn't have had, who kind of got into a traditional way of the learning, self-learning as well as the depth, both is what. How do you think people, like at work and everything, how do you think people perceive Abhijit Reddy? You spoke about perception, so how do you think people perceive Abhijit Reddy?
yeah, there is two things I feel like. Initially, if they don't interact with me too much, they might feel like, okay, this guy is like very angry guy. Because my voice is also like very bass voice, I guess, like and I get too excited also, and I don't even realize like my voice is going too high.
Okay.
So some people will feel like I'm shouting at them.
Okay.
So they'll be like that, and I'll be like, dude, why are you like frozen like that? Blink your eyes, breathe. Like I feel like you're not breathing like that. Then
so you're intimidating someone.
Yeah. Then couple of times people told me like after getting to know me, they told like, dude, I thought like you are a very strict and angry guy like that. Then when they start interacting, they were like, you are actually a very funny guy. You take a joke and you make a lot of jokes on others like that. They will be saying. I'm like, then I realized, oh, so people have that thing. Then I start people telling them, see, I have this without my knowledge I get excited or something, I'll be very loud. you remind me
Mm.
that I will try to get it under control.
Mm.
So I would tell them. Actually, on contrary, when I get really angry with people, I actually become very calm.
Mm. Interesting. So, good self-reflection kind of a question that I asked. But I also feel on the other side, outside of these two,
Hmm.
people feel like outside of Abhishek,
Hmm.
you're the other tech wizard in the company. That's
Yeah.
that's the impression that people
Yeah.
get when they think
Which give me imposter syndrome all the time. Yeah. Actually,
because like any tech challenge thrown,
Hmm.
you know, it the last straw is that it ends at you, right? The last
Yeah.
buck ends at you because you will figure out how to at some point solve for it.
Yeah.
You'll get your hands and feet dirty, do a late nighter and go through lot of documentation, lot of your own understanding, figure out where the source of this thing is, how to implement it, how to solve it, and then you come up with something.
Yeah, I mean that also what I would say is like people stick to very limited scope. I would say like they are like, okay, I'm Python developer, and they just learn Python. Like Python is just a programming language. You need to know a lot more. Like maybe like what is a pandas library, a lot more. Even pandas is also like very limiting. So you need to know all that. So I spend time to time, like every month I take a target and I try to learn new technology. So whenever a complex problem comes in my direction, I have a lot more tools to deal with it. For a person who is only knowing Python, like kind of, it feels like a how to
It's a
even
narrow
do this.
scope.
Yeah.
They don't have the
Even
breadth
sending
of,
a simple SMS, you can think like in a common knowledge kind of thing. Like, of course, someone would have made a package and like this is kind of like a service kind of thing will be there. So you will have that some. I would say like a lot of times it's programming is a lot more creative also. Where from the decision making also you need to make an assumption. Like something like this, someone might have built it also.
Like
And you
the
need to
patterns,
avoid
the design patterns. Once you have good amount of understanding where you would have seen similar things somewhere else, okay, you would have understood the similar pattern of building this service, would have like this kind of a package or API endpoint where you need to communicate with this service, things like that.
Yeah, and also like
How does one learn this? If I could say this a skill, how does one, like if you want to inspire more people inside and outside of SmartQ to operate like a Reddy, what advice would you give?
like you have to just be curious about stuff. I would say like one is you have to be curious. You should not always see from I spent X amount of time and how much value I'm getting for every single thing. I would say.
You shouldn't keep looking at that innovation always.
And also you should not keep waiting even with how this habit that Abhishek sir start putting all the things, which to an extent I feel like I have given a very bad habit to Abhishek sir, that now he sends everything in my direction all the time. so it kind of starts like when I was front-end developer, right? So I was like very interested, and that time one back-end developer quit, and then I was asking like continuously. So he gave me the opportunity. Okay, do this. Let's see. Like we are going to New Zealand. We are redoing the whole application.
Right.
So he gave me that opportunity. And afterwards, what I felt is like the only things that I did it, I'm solving the problems when it comes. Whichever already someone has done already from beginning of company, I'm not touching them. And I'm always saying like Abhishek sir has to come or Swaroop has to come and see into it. Then I felt bad, like why am I relying too much? Let me spend 1 weekend to understand this whole menu management system, how it is and how difficult it can be. And when I spent time, like each and every line, fundamentally I started questioning why they are doing this, write some questions about it, and later go and ask them like why did you do this, all these kind of things. Then it improved my understanding. So same way you might have to spend time, like one is like definitely fundamental knowledge. People think like I need to understand, spend time understanding complex stuff to do complex things. What I believe is like complex problems doesn't always need a complex solution. The solution can be pretty simple also. So, and you need to first understand the fundamental building blocks before you can even go to the complex stuff.
So
Okay.
people don't spend enough time, and they, like, if you're curious, naturally your questions will start coming, but then you need to reach out to the right people, take some time, spend time, understand things fundamentally. Then you'll have a broader view of how things work, why they work in a certain way, why have we built certain things in a certain way,
Yeah.
and then you can really contribute to the whole stack.
Yeah.
Is that the right message?
Yeah.
And second thing is, I would say, don't expect quick results, but it will compound over time,
Yeah.
especially in kind of this curiosity part and the learning part.
Yeah.
Your
And,
initial traction will be slow, but it will be a snowball effect eventually.
yeah. So you have to take one principle, like 90% of what you learn might not even come anytime hand in your life. Be with that assumption and learn stuff, and then you need to put that much of effort. And second thing, what I feel is like
You
lot
should
of
enjoy
people,
that learning process fundamentally. I
yeah.
feel.
Then it doesn't even become like a learning; it just
Burn,
becomes
yeah.
one more activity. And
You're not measuring how much time, effort. If you're just enjoying it, you're just curious to understand the whole thing. You're not really worried about, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 days,
yeah.
10 days, etc.
And the second, one more thing, what I would say is like have some interest out of your technical stuff. So why I would say is like I am more of a generalist person than a specialist kind of a person. So usually in industry people will feel like generalist is like a lesser role or something like that. But what I feel is that you need to be like in multiple areas. You need to have like good enough knowledge in one or two fields. Then you need to have at least basic knowledge on like intermediate knowledge in multiple level fields. Then you can the ideas cross pollinate kind of thing. So couple of examples I can think of is like there is this one guy, I guess like Japanese person, I guess like he is very interested in bird watching.
Scientist? No. Okay.
I mean engineer, I guess, like not scientist. He's very interested in bird watching.
He designed those trains.
Bullet
now.
trains.
Bullet trains. Yes.
So he got very then he struck like how did the bird travel so fast kind of thing and everything. So there are a lot of these kind of situations. So these kind of cross pollination can happen.
Interesting. Even I agree that true creativity and simple, like being able to solve for complex things and give solutions which actually work probably requires most simplest solutions, but it doesn't come through just hard work and grind. It comes through elegant creative solutions, which comes from having a much broader view of the world.
Yeah.
With that note, I would say thank you so much for spending time and joining me on this drive to work. And I hope a lot of people would have understood much more about Reddy and his entire story.
Yeah. Thank you for translating it more poetically, whatever the rambling that I do.
Yeah, but your thoughts are very rich and on point. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.